Hey guys, what is up and welcome back. Today I'm doing another informational video on Warhammer 2 to help you guys out. This time we are going to focus on making money. Using these methods will certainly help you guys out with your campaigns, and these methods can be used on any difficulty, so you guys can play legendary, very hard, whatever. These methods will just greatly boost the faction's income. I will focus on 4 races in this video, and those will be High Elves, Dark Elves, Reichland or the Empire, and Vampire Counts. These methods are not legendary lore specific, but these are race specific, so you can use any legendary lord to boost the faction's income. So let's start off with the first one, will be High Elves. Alright, for the High Elves I loaded up one of my most recent campaigns that's actually still going on. It's the Elithanar campaign. You can see I have currently 1600 influence and 54,000 income at turn 130 with a grand total of 121,000 income. You can see I have one province that's making most amount of money. Over here it's Titan Peaks with a grand total of almost 21k. You can actually scale this up way more, and how you can achieve that is basically put all of your wizards that you can recruit with the trade. So you can see here details, trades, entrepreneur, put them all into one province. This will increase the tax rate by 3% faction wide, and income from all buildings plus 15% as well. And this makes the High Elves the richest faction in the whole game basically. And another thing you can do is a little trick. You can give all of your all of your mages, can give the Disciple of the Phoenix followers, you can get them really easy. So if you give all of them, so for example here as well, Disciple of the Phoenix, they will actually increase your research rate by a lot. So you can see that all of the research and technologies will actually take 1 or 2 turns, and then the later ones will take like 3 turns. So you can really quickly boost all of your force as well, and you will become an absolute powerhouse. I think you can do this in a couple of provinces. Elithanar of course starts over here at Arnheim, so it's easy to take the ancient city of Quintex. This province is really rich with this building, of course. It will boost a lot. You can do it, I think, in Tor Emrock as well, because you have a gold mine there. And of course in Lothern, because that has a lot of building slots as well, and of course 4 settlements here. And this will make it so that the High Elves are essentially the richest faction in the game, and you can make an absurd amount of money. But you need influence, of course. And how do you get influence? Well, you can build actually these elven embassies that will give you 2 influence a turn, and you have the, of course, the nobles, and the nobles have this specific ability that they can secure influence. So if you press on an enemy city, for example, I cannot show it right now because they're not close, but you can press on a city and do an action, secure influence, and if they are higher level enough, then they will actually gain influence a turn. And that will be really useful for generating a lot of influence as well. And the entrepreneur trade is basically the most expensive one in the High Elf roster, together with a bunch more. So you need 40 influence for this. And of course you can build the buildings for the High Elves, this one, the Tower of Mages in every single major settlement. The thing is, you can do this as well with handmaidens, but you need to be very lucky, because they don't really have a lot of recruitment slots. That's basically how you do it with the High Elves. And what is really useful as well, if you want to build out provinces really quickly to gain more money, you can get the administrator trade, and that will actually decrease the construction cost for all buildings and construction time for all buildings as well. So if you need to build up a province really quickly, you can do that. So let's now move on to the next one, will be the Empire. Alright, I loaded up into my Reichland campaign here. You can do this basically with every single legendary lord as well. So basically what you want to do with Reichland is basically the same thing as we were doing with the High Elves. You spam these certain heroes, and these heroes need actually a certain trait. And this trait for the Empire is the noble trait. Will actually decrease the construction time minus 25% for all buildings in the local region, but what you're most looking for, of course, is the income from all buildings plus 10% in the local province. And the good thing here about these wizards is that they boost the income of the province as well. So you can basically put all of the points in here and then the income will be modified as well. So you can see, for example, here Altdorf, if you look at this entire province, it's making 16,256. So it actually boosted by quite a bit. It's of course not as absurd as the High Elves because they are basically snowballing out of control, but this is really useful to do as well if you want a little bit more income as Reichland basically, or any Empire faction. You can put them into Marienburg as well. If you build this one up all the way, it actually generates a lot of income. I think a little bit more than Reichland does. So, but Reichland has of course the 4 cities and this only has 3 if you can get all of them, which I did not get in this particular campaign. So this is one of the ways to actually get rich with the Empire as well. So now moving on to the next one will be the vampire counts. Alright, so for the vampire counts, you guys basically can guess it. It's another hero spam here, and hero spam is this time in the province of Castle Drakenhof, Eastern Sylvania. And what you basically do with the vampire counts to get that little bit extra, that little bit additional income, you not really exploit, but to boost your faction, is to recruit a lot of these necromancers. And the necromancers have this same ability as the wizards have with the Empire. They can boost the income here, so that's by additional 6%. There's nothing really like a trade that they can get, so what I usually do is just get all of these necromancers to a certain level that they can boost all of the income. And I suggest doing this one with the vampire counts if you own Castle Drakenhof. Castle Drakenhof has the advantage of a, let me see, a gold mine here, of course. And that will boost the income a lot for this province. So for this province, we're actually making about 18,000 as well with all of these heroes here. So basically, if you have a faction that has heroes that boost the income, I suggest putting it in your richest province, and then you will actually boost your income by a lot. So you can do this with a number of factions if you actually have the boost income here and not a particular trait like the High Elves. So it's a little bit difficult, more difficult to do with, for example, Kamler, because Kamler starts over here and is not really a profitable region. I mean, it has a decent amount of income, of course, but it doesn't really boost anything. So I would suggest putting all of your dudes into Castle Drakenhof or any sort of region you can get with either a gold mine or something that boosts your income. And last but not least, we are going to the Dark Elves. Alright, I loaded into one of my Dark Elf campaigns here with Malekith, but you can of course do this with literally every single Dark Elf faction that you can play. Oh, my map is a little bit turned. So basically what you do with the Dark Elves is a little bit the same as you do with the High Elves. It's always a hero spam of some sort, and this makes the Dark Elves the second richest faction in the game if you can actually get there and exploit them, because they usually have a little bit more difficult starts, and you have a lot of enemies, of course. I think the High Elves are really easy. If you guys want to start off, for example, with Legendary, just load up a High Elf campaign with Tyrion and just exploit it with entrepreneurs. But you can do this with the Dark Elves as well, as shown here. Basically what the Dark Elves can do, they have these K-Knight Assassins, and they have this trait, increase the slave income. So you can spam a lot of them here into one region. You should do that in one region where you can have the most slaves or you can have the most income, and this will actually increase by quite a lot. So you can see here, income from slaves already increased by an additional 10%. There will actually be another level that you can unlock here that I haven't actually unlocked yet. So you can see a lot of slaves here, about 18,000. What you basically do is you can put all of these provinces on hold, and basically your most profitable, so here Iron Mountains, you can actually load that full of the, full with slaves basically. So what you get then is, if you look at the income here for the province, about 25,000 income by turn 133 from one single province. So it's making a lot of money. So that's basically what you do with the Dark Elves. You just load a lot of, you recruit a bunch of K-Knight assassins into one province, and then you funnel all of your slaves into that region, and then you make an amazing amount of profit here. It's not as absurd as the High Elves, but it's certainly up there with, yeah, they're basically the second richest faction in the game with this spam. So hopefully you guys actually learned something from this. Try to compile some of these really informational bits that you might find useful into some videos. Hopefully you guys have some suggestions for me that you guys want to see me explaining. This is basically what I use for my legendary campaigns. You have seen now 4 of my legendary campaigns, so I can do it with a number of factions to actually gain a little bit of an upper hand on the cheating AI, of course, because they are always so really annoying to fight on legendary difficulty. You need to like a little bit exploit the game to get an edge here, and this will make sure that you can spam a lot of armies and actually can fight the AI. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys next time.